Welcome into Duval Daily, presented by GenJag.com. I'm Jordan DeLugo. Thanks so much for tuning in here on Tuesday, May 6th. Yesterday, talked a little bit about Caleb Ransaw, Jaguars' third-round pick at 88 overall. Talked about his projection to the next level, to the Jaguars, all that good stuff. And I came to the conclusion, based on my studies, that I think he will be able to find his way into the starting lineup in year one for the Jaguars and make a potentially positive impact as long as he has the ability to take the information given to him in the classroom, process it, and take it out to the field from a mental standpoint and be able to play instinctive football, because he's got everything else you could ask for, transitioning from nickel to safety. Now, the fascinating thing is the two guys the Jaguars drafted back-to-back on day two at 88 and 89, and the Jaguars traded back up higher into the third round to get to 89 to draft Wyatt Milum. Both of these guys are going to be playing different positions in the NFL than they did in college. Both were given the opportunity to play those positions at the Senior Bowl, and I think the NFL was smart to get those guys out there on the grass during the Senior Bowl game and actually see them live reps. Again, Caleb Ransaw at safety, he looked incredible at safety during the Senior Bowl. Wyatt Milum at guard, former left tackle for the West Virginia Mountaineers, played guard at the Senior Bowl. So looking at Wyatt Milum and kind of answering the question, will he have the opportunity to potentially start immediately? Looking at his career at West Virginia, again, played left tackle, started at left tackle for like 4 years. The last 3 seasons, he did not allow a single sack, which it's really unbelievable. That's like a statistical anomaly. I've said that many times. No matter how good you are, to go 3 straight seasons without allowing a sack it's just bizarre. And it's very impressive, obviously, because he wasn't allowing a lot of pressures either. Pressures lead to sacks. But that's not to say he was never beaten in pass protection. Obviously, I think his battle between him and Abdul Carter this year was fireworks. It was really fun to watch. They kind of took punches back and forth, not literally, but maybe a couple times. But they were getting after each other a little bit. And Abdul Carter, the one time he was really able to win on a pass rush rep, he was able to cross Wyatt Milum's face, which means you're acting like you're going on the outside arc, outside shoulder of the tackle, and then you're able to use your lateral agility, your quickness to cross the face and get back inside and rush the quarterback from the inside shoulder of the tackle. And I think that's really how you can see Wyatt Milum lose, like in space when you're going up against these elite athletes like Abdul Carter, like some of the guys you're going to see at the next level, in space at tackle. But overall, even when you do kind of see that occasionally, you just don't see Milum lose very much in pass pro, as evidenced by the statistics. And you never see him lose on the outside shoulder. You always see him getting the job done in pass pro, in the run game at the point of attack. I kind of feel like with his tape, you see a guy that within 3 to 5 yards of where he initially lines up, which again was at tackle at West Virginia, that's his domain, and you're not going to beat him in that domain. Within 3 to 5 yards any direction of where he lines up, you're just not going to beat him much there, if ever, right? Very rarely. How does he achieve that? Like, what is he doing to be able to win in this way? When he doesn't have the greatest length, not the best 40-yard dash or 10-yard split or anything like that. I think he's assignment sound. I think he's as smart as they come. I think he's as tough as they come. I think he really gets what he needs to be doing on a given play for the offense to execute at its best. And he's at his best, again, within 3 to 5 yards of where he initially lines up. I think that there's a level of explosiveness and agility that gets the job done there. Again, assignment sound, no wasted movements, coordination between the hands and the feet. The quickness and short area explosiveness, I think, are both good, above average, really. And then he's extremely strong as well. I think he's strong throughout his frame. Like, he has a really good anchor. You're really not going to bull rush him into the quarterback. And then He has exceptional grip strength as well, which helps him in pass protection and in the run game. Kind of once he gets his hands on you in the right spot, you're not going anywhere. It's kind of the rep is over, usually, with Wyatt Milum in that regard. Again, so how does he lose as a pass protector? Basically with inside counters, guys trying to cross his face, just beating him with their athletic ability. That's really how you see him lose it in pass pro at the tackle position. In the run game, he just doesn't have the juice to consistently be impactful down the field. When you're talking about super wide zone assignments or trying to get upfield to the second, third level, you'll see him execute it from time to time. But a lot of times you just see a guy who doesn't quite have that speed beyond 3 to 5 yards to really make a consistent impact on these really long horizontal plays or down the field as well. So those, I think, are the knocks on Wyatt Milum. And then obviously the length is an issue at tackle where you talk about you probably want to kick him inside to guard. That's exactly what the Jaguars are planning on doing, but they do like his versatility. But they're going to kick him inside to guard, reduce the space that he has to play in. I do think that should be a good fit. And then you look at his tape at the Senior Bowl. During practices, definitely up and down. I saw a lot of reps where I'm like, oh gosh, this does not look good transitioning from tackle to guard, which can be difficult, right? It's not the same position. But you also have to remember in one-on-one reps at the Senior Bowl, it is designed really for the aggressor, which is the pass rusher, to win. And you usually do see them win. Now, that's not to say offensive linemen can't win in one-on-ones. They certainly can. I mean, Gray Zabel is a perfect example. Gray Zabel was basically perfect all week at the Senior Bowl. And that's a guy who converted from tackle to guard. So it's not to say like just because Wyatt Milum had some issues at the Senior Bowl during practice, they won't pop up in the NFL. They very well could. But it's also a thing where you kind of have to weigh what you're taking away from that. And overall, when I think when you got to the Senior Bowl game, he had 18 reps at guard. I think it actually went very well for him overall in pass protection and at the point of attack in the run game. Again, I think when you're asking him to get out in space, that's not going to be where he really thrives. But to me, he feels like a really good pass protecting guard who will also be good at the point of attack in the run game, but just is not going to have that athletic ability again to really make an impact down the field a whole lot or to win in space. So again, inside player does make more sense. I think probably a scheme where you're not asking him to get out on the move a ton. I mean, he can pull for you. He can pull. But I think you want him in the run game winning at the point of attack. Lining up, beating the man in front of him, he can do that. The question that we want to answer here at the end, though, will he beat out Ezra Cleveland in 2025? I have a hard time seeing that, honestly. I know that Ezra Cleveland is not the most popular guy in Jacksonville. Usually offensive linemen, when teams lose, they're like, oh, the offensive line sucks. And the offensive line did not perform at its best last year. But I think Ezra Cleveland was one of the better guys last year overall for the Jaguars on their offensive line. I think he played pretty consistent football and did a good job. I think he was good in pass protection. I think he created some push in the run game. His athleticism stands out. He is a guy that you can utilize on the move in space. I mean, he is an elite athlete. And I know you can look at Wyatt Milum's RAS, relative athletic score, and say, well, isn't he an elite athlete? Like, he has a 9.14 relative athletic score. Yes, he does. A good chunk of that comes from the fact that he's 6'6", so he has great size. He has good weight at 313 pounds. He had a good vertical, 30-inch vert, which is an 8.56 out of 10 amongst guards. His broad jump was an 8.7 out of 10 amongst guards. His short shuttle, 4.69, was a 7.82 out of 10 for guards. Three cone, 7.59 out of 10. 7.59 was the time, and that's an 8.8 out of 10 amongst guards. But where you see the lack of speed, lack of athleticism is in the speed department. His 5.27 40-yard dash is only 6.56 out of 10 amongst guards that have entered the league, right? So you see that, and then you also see like the 10 split is even worse at 1.83. The 20-yard split is even worse. So he just isn't a guy who has a lot of juice outside of the short areas. He's got the explosiveness in the short area. He's got enough quickness in a short area. And I think he is a strong player, but just not somebody who really gets it done on the move. Ezra Cleveland, I don't think there's any real deficiencies in his game overall. I think he's a good player. Now, the Jaguars drafted Wyatt Milum in the third round for a reason. They traded up for him in the third round for a reason. I think that they have their eyes set on Wyatt Milum taking over for Ezra Cleveland after the 2025 season. I think that their plan is probably based on the players that they have selected through free agency and the draft on the interior of the offensive line. I think they're looking at probably being a more inside zone and power rushing attack. We'll see how it plays out. I know they want to be multiple. I know they want to get the job done in a lot of ways up front, but that's kind of the type of player I'm seeing in these guys, especially in Wyatt Milum. Going to be fascinating to see how it plays out, but I would, if I had to guess, I think that their hope is that Wyatt Milum is able to push Ezra Cleveland this offseason and eventually take over after 2025 when the Jaguars can get out of the Ezra Cleveland contract. They can save $2.5 million in cap space in 2026 as a normal cut. As a post-June 1 cut, they can save $7.75 million against the cap. Now, there's several signings from the last year or so of the Trent Baalke regime that weren't really super advantageous when it comes to getting out of them without doing post-June 1 cuts. And you're talking about Gabe Davis and Eric Armstead and Ezra Cleveland. You can only have two post-June 1 cuts per year, right? And the reason you do post-June 1 is because it gives you more cap flexibility after June 1st. You don't get that cap relief until after June 1st, right? But it does generally give you a lot more savings. So there's going to be some question marks to answer. I would guess that their hope in regards, just kind of going off on the side here about the cap situations with those guys, I would guess they would like to use a post-June 1 on Gabe Davis. And I would guess that they're hoping that Eric Armstead plays to a level where they just have him play out his contract throughout the 2026 season. So they have him for the next 2 years because he is a really good football player. I think he fits what they want to do, penetrating on the interior, that style of play. And then, maybe get out from Ezra Cleveland as a post-June 1 cut. So maybe you're looking at Gabe Davis and Ezra Cleveland. And not because Cleveland can't play, but because they really like Wyatt Milum a lot. I think they like what he's going to do for them as a pass protector on the interior. And I do think he could potentially be better long-term than Ezra Cleveland as a pass protector, but converting to guard from tackle, it's going to take a little bit of time. Adjusting to the talent level that's in the NFL is going to take a little bit of time, right? And again, overall, Cleveland right now I just think is going to be better than Wyatt Milum. I think that Wyatt Milum has a chance to be a better player, or at least the same level of player long term and on a much cheaper contract over the next 4 years than you would have to pay Ezra Cleveland. So I think that is the most likely path. I don't expect him to immediately be a starter, but he could go out there and really impress. I mean, you're getting things going right now. You have rookie minicamp this weekend. I will be out there on Saturday, May 10th, I believe. So we'll start getting some eyes on these guys and seeing what we think now that they're actually in black and teal and in the Jaguars facility, getting coached up by their new coaches and in the training and strength and conditioning and all that stuff. I'm excited to see what Wyatt Milum can do. I'm very excited to see, obviously, Travis Hunter Caleb Branshaw. I mean, Jack Kaiser, Tootin is going to be incredibly fast out there. So excited to see these guys. Let me know what y'all think about Wyatt Milum in the comment section below. Do you think he's going to be able to start in year one? Do you have confidence in the pick? Just let me know what y'all think in the comment section below. And if you enjoy the content, please like and subscribe. Y'all have a good one.